Hi friends, this is FirearmPop, and this is another edition of Armed Citizen Stories. And this one I'm titling Parents Who Killed for Their Children. Parents Who've Killed for Their Children. Now, what would you do if you felt your child's life or well-being was on the line? Okay. Parents are forced to make hard decisions every day, and none harder than choices that have to do with their children's safety. From cases involving abuse to kidnapping, these mothers and fathers said they've killed to protect their kids. Now, I don't have videos for all these stories, but I do have videos for some of them. So the first one is Widowed Mom Shoots Intruder. And we'll go to the video on this one. Okay, ABC News had me pull their video on this, so I will narrate this part.
An extraordinary case of a mother's protective instinct. 18-year-old Sarah McKinley was home alone on New Year's Eve with her baby. Her husband had died the week before of cancer when two men tried to break in. She then made two fateful decisions. She picked up a shotgun and she picked up the telephone and called 911 and asked for permission to fire. Here's ABC's Ryan Owens.
It starts like a classic horror movie. A young mother alone with her baby. Nothing around but the lonely plains of Oklahoma when the family dog growls at the door.
He was trying to tell me something, so I looked out the door and saw that it was that man.
That man was a 24-year-old who Sarah McKinley believed was stalking her. Police say he was armed with a 12-inch hunting knife, and he wasn't alone. Detectives say he was with this friend. The duo was trying to break down the door.
I got the 12 gauge and proceeded to walk back to the bedroom with my son. He was crying at the time, so I put a bottle in his mouth, trying to get him to stop. I got a pistol and called 911 on my cell phone.
I'm here by myself with my infant baby. Can I please get a dispatcher out here? You mean, okay, hold on.
Since she lives in the middle of nowhere, that would take a while. For 20 terrifying minutes, she waited as the intruders tried everything to knock down her door.
The noise of the busting of the doors was worse than any part. That was the scariest. Wondering which time he hit it was going to be the time that he got in.
Yes, I've got two guns in my hand. Is it okay to shoot him if he comes in the store?
Well, you have to do whatever you can do to protect yourself. I can't tell you that you can do that, but you do what you have to do to protect your baby.
I was going to have to choose him or my son, and it wasn't going to be my son, so I did what I had to do.
The second he broke down the door, she shot and killed him. His alleged accomplice ran away, but later turned himself in. Police call the shooting justified.
You're allowed to shoot an unauthorized person that is in your home.
Oklahoma is one of 30 states with something called the castle doctrine. Basically, your house is your castle, and you have the right to kill to protect yourself. Other states require a homeowner to try to retreat or escape before using deadly force. Southern Methodist University law professor Jeffrey Bellin explains the distinction.
So if you can safely retreat from a situation, we're going to ask you to do that as opposed to respond, especially with deadly force. And if you don't, then you could be prosecuted.
Although he couldn't think of a single example where an American homeowner who killed an intruder ended up in prison. The bottom line is, if you decide to prosecute a homeowner who shoots somebody who's breaking into their home, at some point that has to go before a jury or a judge.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of sympathy for that homeowner.
Right. In fact, many of the cases that do get prosecuted don't even make it past the grand jury stage.
That's what happened in 2007 in Texas.
I've got a shotgun. Do you want me to stop him?
Nope, don't do that. Ain't no property worth shooting somebody over, okay?
A retired computer engineer is watching two men break in, not his home, but his neighbor's.
I'm not going to let him get away with it. I can't take a chance on getting killed over this, okay?
No.
I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot.
The 911 operator begs him not to.
Well, here it goes, buddy. You hear the shotgun clicking, and I'm going.
Don't go outside.
The next sound on the tape is the man shooting and killing those two burglars.
You're dead.
Even in that that case, where the homeowner was protecting his neighbor's home, a Texas grand jury refused to indict him. In Sarah McKinley's case, police say she's legally in the clear. Her conscience is too.
I would do it again. Not because I'd want to, but because of my son.
A young mother fiercely protecting her child.
There's nothing more dangerous than a mom with her baby.
I'm Ryan Owens for Nightline in Dallas.
You may have heard that one before. I have. But the next one, father kills daughter's molester. Now, there's another one with a video, and I'm just going to let the video speak for itself.
A man suspected of molesting a 4-year-old is dead. The Lavaca County Sheriff says he was killed by the victim's father. Eric Gonzalez has more from Shiner, Texas tonight.
He was protecting his daughter, and you know, I don't think he knew that the individual was going to die. You know, he was just doing what he thought he had to do to protect his daughter.
Lavaca County sheriffs say a ranch hand had a 4-year-old girl in a back area of a barn Saturday during a get-together when the girl screamed for help. Her father heard her and found the suspect with his daughter.
Of defending her and trying to help her, he struck the individual in the head, and the individual ended up dying.
Sheriffs say the suspect died at the scene and an autopsy will be done. The family's land is just outside Shiner, Texas. The 4-year-old was taken to the hospital for examinations.
It's my understanding that she was released from the hospital the same night. I did visit with the father about getting some counseling for her and himself.
The neighbors in the area say they are sad that something like this happened, but they do understand the father defending his girl.
I would have done the same. I have an 11-year-old son myself, and I mean, if anything would happen to my family, I probably would have done worse.
The grandfather of the girl says it was an accident and that he's sorry. The suspect had no prior arrests, and the sheriffs say the father was remorseful about the death. The sheriff will present the evidence to the DA, and it will go before a grand jury. The sheriff says most likely no charges will be filed against the father.
Just like self-defense, you know, he's in defense of a third person.
Eric Gonzalez, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Well, our Facebook friends mostly seem to be on the dad's side in this story. Jennifer says, if anyone tried to do such a thing to any of my children, I would probably do the same thing. And William tells us, I think we all agree, someone touches my kids, I'd risk everything to protect them.
This next one is entitled, Woman Kills Man Who Shot Son. Woman kills man who shot son. This one also has a video, so I'll let that go at this point.
Can you tell us what happened? Can you tell us about shooting?
Police are not releasing her name, but they say the 46-year-old called 911 last night saying she shot a man dead who was trying to rob her son in the stairwell of their East Oak Lane apartment building. Police say a 19-year-old got into the Adams Run unit when the woman's 23-year-old son was headed down to the basement with his girlfriend. The mom said the robber had a gun, shot her son in the leg, and was pistol whipping him. She went to the apartment, got her gun, and shot the 19-year-old several times. Police say once in the head.
She made it clear to the first responding officers what occurred. She gave police her weapon, and like I said, she told us that she was intervening in a robbery. She was protecting her son.
And we're told that the mom had a permit to carry the gun. We were also told by a friend that the son was taken to Einstein Medical Center last night and is doing okay. No charges against the mother at this time. And we're told that there probably won't be. Live in East Oak Lane, Luann Kahn, NBC 10 News.
The next one, woman kills a rapist who threatened daughter. Now this one, a Georgia mother who was sexually assaulted by a man who broke into her home wearing a ski mask and carrying a gun, took action when he threatened to do the same to her daughter. According to Fox News, when the attacker told her he was going to assault her 6-year-old daughter, who was locked in a bedroom closet, the woman found a butcher's knife and killed him in a fight, during which she also suffered stab wounds. The mother was airlifted to a hospital for treatment, but her daughter remained unharmed. Here's another case. Father shoots son's kidnapper. Watch the video.
Doucette, a karate instructor, had abducted 11-year-old Jody Plauché several weeks earlier and taken him to California. When Jody was rescued and returned to his family, his father Gary was coping with reports that Doucette had sexually assaulted his son.
We didn't know what to do. You just feel helpless.
10 days later, when the police flew Doucette back to face trial, Gary Plauché was waiting with a gun.
As the suspect came through the airport, I readied my camera, raised it up to get a close-up shot of him. As I got a close-up shot and as he got parallel to me, Gary Plauché shoots and kills him. Gary, why? Gary, why? And to this day, it stands out in my mind, the shooter, Gary Plauché, says, if it had been your child, you would have done the same thing too.
Today, Abram McGull is an assistant U.S. attorney and views that tape through the eyes of a federal prosecutor.
I would have to say the videotape was the most ideal witness in this case. You can actually see him take the gun out of his boot, pull it up to the shoulder lever of Jeff Doucette and pull the trigger and shoot him.
Yet Plauché, after pleading no contest to manslaughter, got off with only 5 years probation.
Okay, and the last one here is Mother Kills Ex-Husband. No video for this. Dolores Marquis was sentenced to 58 years in a Texas prison for killing her ex-husband, whom she claimed had been sexually molesting her 3-year-old daughter for years. According to a story by the Ocala Star-Banner, Marquis, who had previously lost custody of her daughter, emotionally confessed on the witness stand to shooting George Perois in the genitals multiple times when she discovered sexual abuse charges against him were going to be dropped. She turned down a plea bargain and had been given her just 20 years of jail time and had no prior criminal record at the time of the incident. Now she's doing 20 years for shooting her ex-husband numerous times in the genitals. I think that's justice right there. I'm not justifying vigilantism. I'm not saying that's great, but I think when you have to be a parent to appreciate that when your child is hurt, been hurt, or going to be hurt. Sometimes you just don't reason rationally, and I pray that the courts take that into consideration. Anyway, I thought these stories were interesting. It was an interesting topic, parents who've killed for their children. I hope you enjoyed it. This is FirearmPop. Be safe and God bless. Bye now.